if I'm not mistaken, I think Wyatt, you
Yeah.
had the original idea, right? Because you said,
Yeah, I had the idea with like the word leaving,
yeah,
like and it being a father-son thing, but then Luke actually had the even though I'm leaving, I ain't going nowhere. Like
yeah,
that was in his phone, and we were like, oh, that's good. Let's do that.
yeah. I remember you saying, Wyatt, like you always kind of wanted to write a song that because your son was getting older, like a song kind of sort of about like, just, because he's gonna be going off to college and stuff that like I just wanted to know that I'm always here, even when he don't know I'm here kind of thing. And like that's what I think that's what like clicked our minds into this thing, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was for sure.
That was the first time I met Ray. I'd
Yeah.
met Luke once before. It was the first song we ever wrote together, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we walked in and like an hour in to meeting you, Wyatt. I think we were, a verse in or something. So which is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty wild to go to dig that deep that for the first time.
Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, it was definitely different than a normal first write for sure.
Yeah.
There were times it's like I think there was points everybody had eyes got a little glassy at some
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Like when we were writing the song, we all looking at each other like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. Especially in that like work tape at the end, it was like next thing you know, it's like turning your face so that your buddy don't see you like tearing up.
Yeah.
I think it was probably, like everyone's collective experiences kind of like generalized into, what we thought people could relate to, I mean, everybody has that thing where you're scared when you're a little kid and
Mhm.
your dad comes in, it's like, oh, everything's all right, I'm just down the hall kind of thing. So I felt like everybody could kind of, for the most part, relate to that sentiment at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Even whether it's like in the second verse, it's a guy going off to war, but it's like you can kind of relate to that too. At some point, everybody has that. Most everybody has that moment where they're like taking that step to kind of be out on their own and stuff, and that's no matter what you're doing, just scary. So
Sure. And
Yeah.
as a parent, like it's one of the hardest things ever is to let them go, like to let them, and knowing you have to, and you hope you did a good job, and they're going to be good people, but let them know I'm right here. Just the same way when they're a kid, you're letting go of them on a bike. You got to let go so they can do it themselves. But hey, I'm right here. It's the same thing when they grow up. It sucks letting them go, but you got to.
And I'm lucky enough to still have, my dad around in my life and stuff. And so, but I watched, a few years before we wrote that song, like I watched my mother lose her dad. You know what I mean? And it was kind of like, it wasn't like a sudden thing. It was like he was in, eventually he had to go into a nursing home, and then it was like a slow kind of process. So like she had that opportunity to, go and like have conversations with him about, things that were kind of, maybe left unsaid or whatever it was. And so that was the scene that I was kind of imagining in my head, was like, you're going in and your dad's kind of telling you like, it's okay. Like I know my time has kind of come to an end.
yeah,
And at least that's where I drew from that experience on the
yeah,
last part of that song. I have never gotten more stories about a song than this one.
yeah,
I mean, people just, I think when a song is as great as I feel like this song is, even if it doesn't directly relate to someone, they find a way for it to relate to their life, and so it becomes a very impactful thing, like whether that's a song they shared with their dad, or it was a song that makes them think about their dad, or it was a song their dad played for them, or something. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
there's so many instances, way too many to count, of fans, giving me really, really emotional stories about what this song means to them. So it's definitely been my, up there on the list for me of songs that I feel like have really touched the fans in like a really cool way.